Where are we going?
We are going to Korea!
Let's go!
Let's go!
Welcome to this video on how to spend 3 awesome days in South Korea. Today I'm going to share with you some of the best things you can do in South Korea and show you all the things that we did so you can get an idea of what to expect from this place. As we get ready for our flight to Incheon, we first go and exchange some money into South Korean currency known as won. For this trip we went to South Korea with a tour company from Thailand and flew from Savannapom Airport. There was about 20 other people in total on this trip, including Fang's friends, the lovely Da and Kwan, and I shall point these lovely people out to you on the screen now. All excited, we go aboard our flight to Incheon and we flew with an airline called Jeju Air, which was a night flight that took around 6 hours to get there from Bangkok. And this was our first time flying with this airline and probably our last because the flight was absolutely awful. Maybe not all flights were like that, but it was about 28 degrees in the cabin and we had to drink lots of water throughout the flight. I had planned on trying to get some sleep, which was nigh on impossible because of the aforementioned, although it did give us time to start getting excited. And also slightly apprehensive as we passed the neighbouring country to the north. Safely back on solid ground, it was a cool 12 degrees when we landed, and the next stop was to go through immigration with all our approved travel documents, or visas as they're known. We got through security safely after a rather long wait and then collected our bags to start our trip. What are you eating? After some snacks, it was time to board the coach for the start of this trip, and this gave us our first opportunity to look at what this country had to offer. Welcome to Korea.
Welcome to Incheon, Korea.
As you'll see throughout this trip, our itinerary for these few days is very full. There's lots of activities and plenty of things to do for everyone. It had a good balance between going to all the different places as well as the options for free time as well. And this is the first stop that we went to, which is a strawberry farm. If you'd ever wondered what Korean strawberries were like, as you can see, they look big and juicy and they tasted really good too. There was a chocolate fountain in there as well, where you could dip your freshly picked strawberries, like Fang's doing now. And the combination works really well. You get the slight acidity of the strawberry mixed with the sweetness of the chocolate.
Tasty.
And later on in this video, you'll get to see some of the really amazing food that this country has to offer. And I wasn't sure whether this was where they washed the strawberries or not. Strawberry farm complete, it was now time to head off to one of the places I was looking forward to the most on this trip, and that's South Korea's largest theme park called Everland. We arrived at around 11 o'clock in the morning, around the time the theme park opened, and it's probably a good time to mention as we go through this series in South Korea that we are in the process of doing more in-depth videos on the places that you said you wanted to see, to give you a more detailed guide to those places. And one of those places being this place, Everland, which was a video that was requested, and by the time you're watching this video now, there will be a video purely about Everland. We are still new to YouTube, or maybe old to YouTube, depending when you're watching this. And I must say, rather naively, I thought making these videos would be quite easy. Although it makes it all worthwhile when seeing all the lovely comments that you people have sent us. I'd like to welcome you all to our channel and our travelling experiences. I'm sure you'll appreciate it's not every day you open your life up to complete strangers on the internet, but we don't want you to be strangers anymore. And if it's your first time watching us, welcome, and I hope you're well. I do digress. Let's get back to South Korea and Everland with the double rock spin ride. This was an awesome ride, and as you can see, it rocked and bopped you all over the place, but just make sure that you've not had your lunch before going on this one, because it won't stay in your stomach for long.
Did you enjoy that?
Fang doesn't particularly enjoy going on all the rides like Da and Kwan, but she didn't mind going on the old ski lift.
Hold on tight. Yeah, that rock and roll thing, that was worse than what I thought. I thought it was just going to go up and down.
I think
Spun upside down.
you think I can? I cannot.
Of course.
There really is so many things to show you and things to do here at Everland, and for all you drinkers out there, it's probably worth knowing how much a pint of beer costs, and I'll convert that onto the screen into all the different currencies for you now. This was a really good experience, and it's called Space Tour, and I don't want to spoil the surprise for you if you haven't seen it. Just one thing to be aware of when coming here though is the recording of your videos. There were so many occasions that I tried to capture videos and got told,
"No video recording allowed."
Which is fair enough, and that being said, I was able to get this video of us looking super cool in these 4D glasses. We all love a voucher, and we got one to use for a meal at the many different restaurants in the park. We chose to use our voucher at this European burger cafe, but don't worry if you don't have a voucher, meal prices start from around 9,000 to 13,001, and again I'll convert that into all the different currencies on the screen for you now. After some food, Fang, Dar and Quan went to the zoo and took this brilliant close-up of this grizzly bear, whilst I went off to play on some of the rides. Being the largest theme park in South Korea, there was no shortage of rides either, and I was like a big kid in a candy store, happily going from one ride to another with the added bonus of no queues. I went on the Thunderfalls and tasted the lovely water as it splashed up into my face, and got told not to record on the racing coaster and the championship rodeo. Although I had a bit more success on the Rolling X train, and I'd decided against recording on the Let's Twist out of fear of dropping my camera due to the many twists and turns. They say you can tell a lot about a place by the cleanliness of the toilets, or restrooms as they're called in America, and one thing's for sure, the toilets in South Korea didn't disappoint. These toilets were some of the best that I've ever used. I'm not sure if it was the time of year we come or if it was because it was through the week, but there wasn't many people at all as you'd normally associate when you go to theme parks, and I wasn't complaining, because as you've seen, no sooner had I finished one ride I was able to get on the next. And this continued until I met back up with Fang, Dar and Quan to go on the last ride of the day, which was the pirate ship. Fang bit the bullet, so to speak, and overcome her fear by joining us on this one, and as you can hear from her Tarzan impression, she absolutely loved it. Rides over with, it was now time to leave the park and head back to our bus that was waiting to take us to our next destination. But before we do that, I'd just like to leave you with a friendly hello in Korean.
안녕하세요.
And the funny looking hand movement that all the staff give you when you go on the rides. That is how to say hello in Korean, and we will be attempting to speak some more of the Korean language a little bit later on, as well as mispronouncing some rather difficult words for you too.
Bye-bye.
If you've been to theme parks in your country, or this is going to be the first time visiting this theme park, it's certainly not a bad one to start with, or go to, because from all the ones we visited, this has to be in the top 10, and all I'd say is check what time of year you come, because South Korea can get very cold, with many months below 0 degrees, so it might not be as enjoyable coming here in the freezing cold as opposed to the nice warm sunshine. So we'd recommend March onwards when the temperature gets a little bit warmer, and our guide recommended April time, or maybe later when all the cherry blossom trees that they have all start to bloom. We got to our hotel, which was called the Bliss Hotel, and it felt very blissful indeed. As we entered the room, you can see the provided slippers for you, and I'll start by showing you the bathroom, which had a nice big shower. And the water pressure, it must be said, was excellent, and to my delight it had one of those lovely toilets that warmed your seat and squirted water up your bum. Not that I have a fetish of water being squirted up my bum or anything.
Yeah, okay.
Actually, it's not a fetish, it's just different coming from a Western country, we're not used to it. But there's nothing wrong with having water squirted up your bum anyway. If you've not tried it before, it tickles a little bit.
Yeah.
Most importantly, it's hygienic and it saves on toilet roll. Toilet talk over with, I'll show you the rest of this hotel room now, and as you can see, it's a good sized room which has lots of space, and it has a double bed for me and a single one there for Fang. In case her dad's watching, we can show that we're still sleeping in different beds. The view wasn't anything special, but better than some of the hotels that we've stayed at where you just get to look at another hotel wall or a cupboard. At least there was street lights and we got to see the occasional person walk past. One thing I didn't know in Korea until now was that the tap water was safe to drink. However, the hotel did provide us with some complimentary water. And another thing that I absolutely love to do the most when travelling to a different country, I love watching the TV in a different language that's totally alien, just to see if I can understand anything or not. I was impressed with the touchpad lights as well, but thought to myself you'd need long arms to try to control that from your bed. And we didn't stay in the room long because we had an appointment with a dinner table up on the rooftop area of the hotel. Dinner started at around 8 o'clock and it was a cook-your-own style barbecue on this little gas stove, which, as you'll see later in this video, is quite a popular style of eating here in Korea. They provided us with a mixture of raw meats and vegetables, and once we cooked it, we ate it with the different sauces and salads. Although lacking sleep, we weren't going to let our time in South Korea go to waste by sleeping, so we grabbed our coats and headed out into the evening to see what was around the area. Just a short walk out from the back of the hotel was some amusement games and this convenience store called GS25, which if you come here you'll get to know because they're very popular here in South Korea. And you can see why, as they offered a variety of products such as the noodles, and like a lot of convenience stores in Asia in general, there can seem an overwhelming amount of drinks on display, both hot and cold, to choose from.
It all looks so good.
We weren't aware of any celebrations or festivals going on whilst we were here, so I'm guessing that they just sold fireworks for fun all year round, and maybe they just keep the decorations up all year too, which saves from taking them down. Now we'll have a little look at some of the local street food in the area, and there was all the usual meats on a stick as well as corn, and I'm not sure what some of that stuff actually is, to be perfectly honest with you. This area we are staying in is called Wolmido, and although the address of the hotel states Incheon, it's actually an island 1 kilometre off the coast of South Korea near Incheon. This was a nice area and the main street was just a short walk from the back of the hotel. There's lots of amusement arcades and street food in the area and even a theme park. And tomorrow night we'll come back here and have some proper fun, and I'll show you us eating some of the different food and playing on some of the games too. But today we're just going to be exploring a little bit and familiarising ourselves with the culture, and truth be told about coming to South Korea, that there is going to be a bit of a language barrier and most people don't really speak English very well. And if you're like me and the only thing you can say in Korean is hello, annyeonghaseyo, and that's still debatable. But for now we can get to listen to Darren Kwan's pronunciation of Korean, which has to be said was much better than what mine was.
Kwan, because she's just said it right. How do you say hello in Korean?
안녕하세요.
Annyeonghaseyo. And Da, how do you say goodbye in Korean?
Goodbye. Goodbye or thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you.
감사합니다.
Kamsamida. And Fang, how do you say? How do I get to the bus station tomorrow by 12 o'clock?
Really? Tomorrow we need to set off for bus on
In Korean,
in
please.
In Korean, yes.
Yeah.
I put already in Korean. 12 o'clock. Good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Kamsamida.
As you'll see in a lot of our trips, it's standard for us to grab a few snacks to take back to the hotel room, and I think we should be sponsored by 7-Eleven, the amount of times I've promoted their shops on our channel. And for a good reason too, because they've got a very good range of crisps and noodles and snacks in their shops.
Kamsamida.
감사합니다. 안녕하세요.
Kamsamida.
Unfortunately, that's the end of day one here in South Korea. But no need to be sad, because I'm going to make this into a 4-part series. And you can get to see your next instalment of what we got up to in day 2 and 3 in the upcoming videos. All that's left is to say 감사합니다 for watching. And if you want to follow us into day 2, the next video is coming up on the screen for you now.